Muffin here. So I had a subscriber request to do Defenders versus Counterparts. I've done premium tanks, event tanks, and now it is time to do the Defender tanks. Now, when I did the videos in the past with the premium tanks versus Counterparts, event tanks versus Counterparts, it always seemed to be the premium tanks that have been the ones to win. So we're going to see if that is still the case with the Defender tanks versus their counterparts. So we did best out of 3, so we've got 3 rounds, mixed up the different subscribers. Thank you to all those that had helped with the video. We didn't have every single Defender tank, I believe. So we had the T-28 Defender, the Defender Mark I, the IS-3 Defender, and the newest AMX Defender also in this. And really the differences between the Defender and their counterparts really just comes down to the aesthetics. They basically took the tech tree tank, they made it look like some sort of nuclear electric tank, gave it an electric engine, and changed its normal firing cannon to an auto-loading cannon. And there are some other differences, like the Defender Mark I's turret. So there are just some of these slight differences. And so we're going to see just how this turns out. Centurion has a pretty good rate of fire, and that's the thing about the Defenders, just like with any auto-loading tank, is that you can come around corners, clip out the enemy, doing lots of damage, but then you have that really long reload that you gotta get back in a safe position until you can be fully reloaded and then go back to clip the enemy out. Whereas the tech tree tanks, they just have that consistent reload. So there is some differences as to how you play these tanks. It's like with the auto-loading tanks, you always have to make sure you have a safety or a backup point, a place that you can get into cover, a safety zone while you're reloading, and then be able to get back into the game, into the fight, to clip out that enemy. So close to penetrate there. Come around the corner. Just gets overwhelmed by the Defender tanks. And pretty good game. I would say it was a pretty good fight. The counterpart, or those that played the counterpart tanks, did a pretty good job. This AMX doing excellent, coming up from behind, looking for those distracted targets. Now, unfortunately, there's no more of his teammates left. And he's in a bit of a pinch here. They know where he's at. Now it's just a matter of time before they just close in. See if he can get himself out of this sticky situation. Got a hit off the Defender Mark I and luckily was able to make it out. Man, anyone that's experienced a 1v3 or 4 or 5, whatever, you know how intense it can be. Now, when being the last tank left and you're a lighter medium tank, this is actually a pretty strategic play. And you'll see why. It's because Some of the tanks, like the T-28 Defenders, are slower, whereas the AMX Defender that can catch up to him was able to, but he didn't have a lot of hit points, and he was able to get rid of them. And now, after he's done that, he's trying to relocate. So he's trying to spread them out. It's a great tactic. Now this Defender Mark 1 is coming up from behind. Can he get away? And not quite. So leading the way, the Defender tanks win the first round. So it is pretty crazy in all these challenges I've done. Like I said, the event versus counterparts, the premium tanks versus counterparts, the premium or event tanks were the ones that had won. And so far the Defender tanks are following right in that same pattern. Unfortunate bounce, probably hit the only area on that AMX that caused it to bounce. The counterpart tank's able to get some pretty good shots off of these Defender tanks. Now it's interesting because the T-28 Defender has more armor than the T-28 prototype. Both are classified as tank destroyers. So there's a bit more than just, like I had said before, just the aesthetics and the auto-loading cannon. The T-28 Defender is played honestly more like a heavy tank. It actually has pretty good armor. IS-3 deflecting or just blocking a lot of these shots with his track. Looks like the counterpart tanks are not able to quite hold up. And here we go, right in the side. Only one counterpart tank left. So far out of the 2 games, it is looking like the Defenders are on a winning streak. Do you think the counterpart tanks will have a chance to win the last round, or is this going to be considered an annihilation? We're going to see here soon. Alright, here we go, the last round. Now the fact that the Defender tanks have already won 2, they are taking home the winning cup. We're going to just see how bad of a loss or win this will be for the defender tanks, or loss for the counter tanks, and whether this will be a complete annihilation, meaning the defender tanks winning all 3 rounds, or if the counterpart tanks can redeem themselves. So good position here. Just trying to get any shots on tanks just crossing over. Oh, and unfortunately that IS-3 tracked, losing a lot of his hit points, which is great for the defenders. Able to track him, wasn't able to move, constantly I think kept him tracked, and just was able to clip him out, and he lost a lot of hit points. Now I want to say back in the day, let me know if I'm wrong, but I swear that the IS-3 defender, its firing per round was a lot quicker, I want to say, but correct me if I'm wrong. The IS-3 Defender just seemed to be a much better tank back in the day. I want to say that they've changed it, it's just not quite the same. Even the shots per round to clip an enemy out, in my opinion, it's probably one of my least favorite defender tanks. My favorite of the defender tanks, I would have to say, is the Defender Mark 1. Great gun depression, great turret armor. At 4 rounds, you can clip an enemy out with. But the Defender, the IS-3 Defender, it just seems to shoot a bit too slow between rounds when clipping out enemies. I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it. And things are not looking too good. And that is it. So the defender tanks had won all 3 rounds. So hope you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.